Hello everyone. Welcome. I'm really excited to get into this live today. Today we are going to be talking about how to prep for conception when you're conceiving a starseed baby. Now, some of you know me as a womb healer, and in all my years of doing shamanic womb healing with women, I've looked into so much of what happens inside the womb as a deeply feminine shamanic landscape. And sometimes this looks like looking into ancestry and past lives and all the things, the masculine and feminine energies at play, so all the things. But recently what's really been coming up is that a lot of women are finding they've been having really mysterious miscarriages and are finding it really difficult to stay with the gestation. And what I've been seeing is when I connect to spirit babies, at that time, I see that there's a lot of fifth dimensional beings who are trying to come in. Now, some of you are asking me what a starseed is and what this new fifth dimensional wave is. Some of you perhaps are really new to this work. And they are new frequencies that are being brought in to anchor inside our wombs at this time. The world is still shifting and changing from 3D to 5D, and our wombs are needing an upgrade, and they're needing some support at this time. Now, in a way, I suppose you can say that we are all starseed children, right? We're all coming from the stars and different planets, and we all have in our DNA some DNA that comes from the stars. So humans are hybrids in any case. But now what's happening is the children who are coming in are more in tune with their starseed origins, and they're already connected to the fifth dimension. So we are in a third dimension here. There's also a fourth dimension in between that we're not going to talk about today. But in the third dimension, there's more polarity, and there's a lot more, let's say, separation of the masculine and feminine. In the fifth dimension, this separation doesn't exist as much. So we're having to upgrade our bodies in order to bring these fifth dimensional beings through. Hello. And so beautiful to see you all here. So let me explain the kinds of starseeds that I've seen coming in at the time. There's so many that I can't go into them all today, but you may get a feel for what kind of starseed is coming in for you. So the crystalline children is the majority, I would say, of the types that I see. Crystalline children are very unpolarized. They have this really beautiful opal aura, and they are just very in tune, very connectable. They are custodians of our planet, and they bring a lot of the diamond frequency in with them as well. They will love crystals, they're very telepathic, very connectable. So you might begin to sort of feel when you're communicating with your spirit babies, have visions that this is the kind of soul that's coming in for you. I've also seen that there's a lot of dragon energies coming in at the moment, which is really wonderful. And what the dragon energy does with the dragon starseed babies is that they are bringing in, anchoring in this new feminine. They have like very high vibration feminine energy that's really anchored in. So when I see them anchor, they're like really like digging their claws into the earth. They're really loving the earth and loving being here. So that's another possibility. And then of course you have your angelic starseeds, and they can be more shy and need a little bit more support to ground here. And they're typically these souls that have this wonderful, I would say, purity and innocence about them, although of course all of these children have that, but there's just something about them that, sometimes they haven't been used to being in a body incarnated. So it's harder for them sometimes to come down here. It might be their first life as a human. So we always just want to prepare the space for them. And so how do we prepare the space? And I've seen, so about these mysterious miscarriages, a lot of what is happening is that either the mother hasn't prepared the space enough or just isn't aware that this is happening, and they're very much still in a 3D perspective on things. And also sometimes there are other energies that want to disrupt these children from coming in. I have unfortunately seen this. I'm not going to talk about, darker energies as such, but they are disruptive energies that are working against this many star seeds coming in now, because there's an unprecedented number. And with these star seeds that are coming in, we're going to see a huge change in how we relate to the fifth dimension. We're really anchoring in this new earth, right? So there's always, like with anything, opposing energies that are wanting to, somehow cause some friction here. So how to prep? So the first thing I would say is what you eat, is your nourishment. Because really your body is your primary vessel for bringing in a child. So the first thing you want to do is detox. And so this can be like detoxing from heavy metals, detoxing from the Epstein-Barr virus that a lot of us carry, lots of little things. Now there are wonderful nutritionists who are out there who really work with preconception. So I would really find someone locally who can look at your specific body and tell you what you need, because a lot of this is also an exact science. So it's not one size fits all for this kind of thing. I would say, however, that I'm being told many times, eat more fruit. You may have heard this more recently. Food was sort of turned into something that was bad for us. This is not true unless you have an underlying condition like diabetes. So of course, again, I'm not making any medical claims, and please research this for yourself. But just do know that eating lots of fruit can help. It's not just about a plant-based diet. Some women will need to eat some meat to have a healthy body that can prepare for pregnancy. So it's really very specific. The other thing I would do, so when it comes to anchoring 5D dimensional frequencies into the 3rd D, it's really beautiful to create some kind of altar for your spirit baby child. Okay, so the altar can be made up of anything that works for you. Perhaps tune into your starseed to see what they might enjoy the most. So crystalline children might prefer a crystal. The dragon children might prefer like one of those earth stones or something special that you find in your garden. Roses, if you're feeling you're bringing in a Venusian child or a Syrian child, anything that you feel called to. Remember that as you are the one who is conceiving, you are the best person to know about your starseed child and what they are in need of. If you are feeling that you're one of these women who's having a mysterious pregnancy, you're not quite sure what's going on with your body, pray to your angels. There are specific angels up there in the 9th dimension that are absolutely poised to help you and protect your womb and your starseed baby. They are normally very tall angels, like archangels, and they'll come in and support you, but you have to ask, because they won't do anything. Because of free will, they won't do anything unless you ask them to. So really focus on the angels and focus on love. Focus on communicating with your child. Sing to your child. Let your child know that they are really wanted. and really appreciated. You can leave on your side table a little vase with some flowers in it. I did this when I was calling in my son, and it was just a beautiful ritual that I had between myself and my son. Now, these are all tools, but what they're doing is they're giving you 3D aspects, 3D tools that you can anchor the 5D in, because your children, remember, are coming from the 5D and beyond. So you are standing in the middle of those two worlds for them, letting them know that they must find their own way here and try and communicate with them as well. Sing to them and just give yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day where you can really just sit and receive, get into a meditative state and receive as much as you can. Just allow your body to sink into your feminine beingness, and that looks just a lot like slowing down and receiving. A lot of us just move way too fast, and partly that's also because as we're moving into the 5D, things are speeding up, and we can meet our children at that level, but we have to remember that our bodies are still in the 3D or somewhere in between, and so we still need to be that anchor for our children. So someone was asking this really beautiful question, which is how on board does your partner have to be with preconception? And so that's a really beautiful question. I would say that it helps. I would say that nowadays people are having children in so many different ways, and certainly on other planets there's even more creative ways that people are having children. But in our reality here on planet Earth, more often than not, we still function in partnership, and it's really beautiful if you have a partner who can not only hold you through the process but really be a part of it. It's really important that your partner, whoever is holding, let's say, the masculine pole, this is beyond gender, but let's say you're holding the feminine pole and your partner's holding the masculine pole, it's important that they are there to create a safe container for you to be able to just fully go through this very intense experience of pregnancy and birth. The feminine really needs to be held in order to let go. So it can help. We can appreciate, but we don't need. So many women now are having children without partners. I don't know if I said it already, but yes, it's important that you both speak to your spirit baby. Sometimes the spirit baby will come from the paternal lineage rather than the maternal. You don't know for sure. So it's important to acknowledge that the baby wants a relationship to the father as well. So just letting them be a part of the process, join you in meditation or in your prayers or in your singing, or just, being there and being thoughtful is enough. It's also important that the father or whoever is bringing their seed, if possible, that they also have really good nutrition, because that really helps. And if you think about it, it's the quality of the egg and the quality of the seed. So it's really good for everyone to be on board with this higher vibrational energy that's coming through at the moment. And this, again, starts with the body and looking after the body and raising the vibration. So I would say that good nutrition from both of you, 6 months leading up to conception. That will also give your child a head start when it comes to autoimmune, which happens a lot with starseed children as they're adjusting to this density, and lots of other things. Now, again, there's nutritionists who are very adept at sort of helping with this kind of thing, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Um, Now, yeah, also just remembering that you are creating a third with your partner. So the more union there is between you both and the more harmony, then the starseed baby coming in will feel that, and you'll be able to create the space. That third is actually, in this case, a child. Sometimes it's just an energy that is created between you. But in this case, it's actually a child. So just creating soul union and harmony between you really does help. Now I want to just check and see if any of you have any questions. I'm really happy to answer them at this time. Let's see if I've forgotten anything else that's being asked. Let's see, does anyone here have any questions? No. Okay. So again, with understanding this whole idea of the 5D children who are coming in and these star seeds, they are children who perhaps haven't had many lives here. And when they arrive, we want to be able to really welcome them and nurture whatever their own gifts are. Another thing that the children are coming in with more and more now, and you may have heard of this, is they're coming in a more androgynous state. So they're not as polarized within their masculine and feminine energies, which means that when they arrive, they're much more fluid and much more open. So between the ages of 0 and 4 in particular, they will remember a lot of the things that they experienced before they came here. So that's a really good time to connect with them, to ask them, like, you know, where they were before, to really listen to little things that they're doing, like, you know, their preferences. Like, it really amazes me, like, some children really love, you know, unicorns and rainbows and things like that, or like mermaids, although they've never really been read a book or seen a movie or anything. But it's just so ingrained because unicorns and elves and all of these things, these magical beings, elemental beings, they're all in different dimensions. So they have so much more ease in seeing them and understanding it. Whereas we have to break through so many of our programs, and we have to really do so much healing in order to really open up to these different dimensions. I will say that in the planet at this time, there is a majority, I would say, of Pleiadians, but correct me if I'm wrong. And Pleiadians are very, very close to our planet. They've been here, of course, since the beginning of our time, and they also are custodians of the earth. They are here to like really support and help these new generations to kick off and to do the best to bring us into this new earth. So let's see. Is there anyone who has a question about their starseed child, or anyone who is wanting to conceive at this time? I know it can be a lot. Okay. Yeah, I'll say a little bit more about the womb space then. So I tend to see the womb shamanically speaking. So I'm not a traditional womb healer in the sense that I don't use herbs and things like that. I don't do body work. I'll work on the body. But I see what the womb holds in all the dimensions and all space of time. And so recently, when I've been looking at the womb space, I've been seeing where spirit babies, typically I would see spirit babies and I would see how they're connected to the families that they're coming in for. But recently they've just really been showing me all these different lives that they've had on different planets in different forms, and all the different aspects of their DNA. So I really think this is a lot to do with where we're heading as a planet, that we're moving from more of a 3D reality to the 5D reality. And so all my readings have changed dramatically just in the last year. They're much more fifth dimensional. Hello, Beauty, Juliana. How can we open communication with our spirit babies? That's a beautiful question. So the spirit babies are there. They can't wait to speak with you. They might be closer or further away depending on their timeline for coming in. So one thing that you can do again is just set up a special place for yourself and your baby. So you can just create a little space on a table and perhaps have a candle and a rose, or again anything you think that they might enjoy, and just connect to that intuitively. And signal to your child that this is where you're going to come and speak to them. Of course, you can speak to them in any moment of the day. You're always connected, but they do, much like our guides, they do really respond to these kinds of portals. So you can go ahead and sit down, and then just take a few minutes to relax. You can say a prayer or sing a song, or just put on your favorite music, and then just intend to receive a message from them. So intentionality is really important. So find a question you really want to ask, like, how can I best support you at this time? Or can you show me something that you really love that I'm doing at this time, or something you would wish that I was doing more? And listen for feelings, thoughts, shifts in your energy. You're just going to receive impressions, okay? And if you don't receive an impression, that's also fine, because you might be going about your day, or just like, walking into a bookstore and finding the perfect book, or just going about your day washing dishes, and you'll suddenly get a hit that there is something that you'd really enjoy doing, or that you suddenly want to pick some herbs from the garden, or whatever it is. And that's likely coming from your spirit baby. Spirit babies court to us in different parts of our body, and then when they are ready to come through, they tend to really sit in the womb energetically. But this is typically during the last phase of pregnancy. You might just feel them much closer to the earth, because they are really going through a process to come earthside. But yeah, connect to the aura, to a sense or a feeling of your child as much as you can, because they are there. They're there. There's no time where they come from, so they're just waiting, and the same soul will come back even after miscarriages or abortions. That's just a missed opportunity for them, but it doesn't mean that they will not come back. So they're there. Hello, beautiful Sarah. I joined a little late, but I'm curious about how we can best support our starseeds' physical, emotional, and spiritual health, since it's such a different energetic reality here. Yeah, have you seen themes? Yes. A really big theme for me is helping them understand their emotions. I would say that's like number one. I mean, their health for sure, but again, the health is very different for each child. But just know that they might not enjoy denser things, or your child might naturally prefer not eating meat or whatever it is. But again, you'll have to really use your intuition. If they come out in a strange rash, or like if you see that they're intolerant to something, but you can't quite figure out what it is, just notice they're extra sensitive, and so to just work on their diet. However, the emotions are really the thing that I think they struggle with the most, because they're just so not used to feeling them in this way. This is why we incarnate, right? To feel our emotions. because this is such a beautiful human thing that we have. And so it could be that they are struggling to associate like what's really happening in their bodies, their emotions. Like there's just like waves of life force energy moving through them that they might not be used to. So I really think that that's the best support we can give them. So really keep saying to your child, like, you know, how are you angry now? Not open-ended questions so much, but like, are you frustrated? You know, are you angry now? And just letting them take some time to express their feelings. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. There's another question here, but Marianne Alexandrine. My experience is calling my daughter, offering her a letter where I was opening the space for her to come after I had to ground a lot to be a vessel for her consciousness to come in nature. Oh, that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and exactly, you bring up something really beautiful, which is like the earth energy. Like if you are a mother who is extremely open and perhaps is already very much integrated in the 5D, please don't forget, it's really important to ground in this reality. It's really important to work with earth energy. I work with earth energy before I do anything else, before I do any psychic channeling, before I do any ceremony, or it's just the first thing that I do is ground in earth energy. And also earth energy for mothers is beautiful because it's the orgasmic life force of nature, and we are made of that same life force. So you want to just really root into the center of the earth and then breathe earth energy up into your body, and just begin to feel this life force energy move through your body. It just has that slightly denser frequency, so you can imagine like a red color or any hue of red that's comfortable for you, that feels good to you, so that you can begin to just really run earth energy through your vaginal canal and into your womb space and just into your pelvic bones. And know that that's the energy you're going to need in order to bring your child in too, right? Because you have to run earth energy right at the end there as you're in labor. And you will do this naturally because you probably won't have time you won't be thinking about this whilst you're in labor land. But you're going to want to run earth energy. Your body will just know what to do to bring in your child as you are pushing your child out. Okay, let's see. I think there's another question. My child extremely into snakes and dragons. Yeah, sometimes I wonder what he sees. Yeah, I love that so much. The dragon and snake, I love that. I mean, that's such a very special energy. I think that like reptilian forms of energy have been so demonized, but let's not forget that snake energy is goddess energy, and it is such an incredibly powerful energy, like the energy of life that's life-giving. And the dragons are this beautiful hybrid, where they are anchoring this new, very positive feminine energy into the earth. And I think there's a lot of mantis children coming, perhaps children who have had past lives or future lives with the mantis people, and they love bugs, which is really, if you see kids who are just really obsessed with bugs. And there are also some grey children coming in, and I think that, like, I don't know that much about it, but I think they really love science, and really love technical things. Arcturians, of course, are very, very present on the planet too. So very high intelligence. They understand the geometry of things. They understand like 5D, like etheric cleansing. Like they always come in and do these like beautiful cleansings. They have incredible technology. And also, to answer your question, also, I wonder what he sees. Yeah, like I always ask my son, like, did you, what are you seeing? Or, shall we call your unicorn to come in tonight and sleep by you tonight? And sometimes he 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 kind of looks at me like, what are you saying, mom? But sometimes he really responds, and I always just try and keep that channel as open as possible for him. Yeah, because I think that half the time they're telepathically communicating all of this information and they forget to put it into words, or they don't need to put it into words, so they don't always tell us what is going on. So beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you all for being here. If there's any more questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll be doing more of these sessions for sure. And I think I'm going to move them over to YouTube just because it's easier, and we'll be able to do lives and question answers there, so that I can begin to do channeled questions and answers for you, to give you answers to anything that you might be experiencing at this time. So always please feel free to, when you see these notices that I'm going to go live, please feel free to just send me just send me a question beforehand, so that I can channel it for you, even if it's something more specific to do with your life, and I'll be able to answer it during the live. Okay. Oh, hi Isha. I would like to know how I can know that I'm a starseed. It's beautiful to see you here. Yes, so that's a beautiful question. How to know what you are, as well. Because of course we are also starseeds. Yeah, there are symptoms. There can be lots of symptoms actually. Like there's kind of like this feeling that you never quite fit in, that you're not quite sure where your family is, even if you're like very connected to your ancestry, as I know that you are. But there's like still this feeling that you haven't quite got the bigger picture yet. And then typically the more you work on yourself and you meditate and you clear your channels, you'll find that you're suddenly getting impressions, I call them, or like effectively channeling from dimensions that are higher from the Earth sphere. You could be feeling a lot of nausea if you're dimension hopping without realizing it, which can happen to us a lot. Some of us could be feeling really ungrounded, and just generally feeling drained. That could be because we're actually on another planet. Now we're getting into really quantum stuff, but you can be in parallel here and somewhere else. So a lot of the time, if when you were a child you'd suddenly look at your hands and feel this sort of strange feeling in your hands, or notice that, oh wow, I'm actually here, this feeling of coming back into the body, but you don't know where you were. Some autoimmune diseases are really connected to that, to being a starseed. Also, your dreams will tell you. So just asking with intentionality during your meditations and before you go into your dream work, just intentionally asking to be taken, to be shown where your starseed family is. And you can do lots of research as well online. There's some wonderful teachers who talk about what all the different starseeds are, and you can see what your qualities are. But I always think that that if you can channel this information for yourself, it's much better. It's just firsthand, and you'll just know. Yeah, you're traveling to several dimensions at the same time. Yes, and that can be very draining for sure. Yeah, so I would again just go to your altar and then intend to connect to your starseed, whichever way works for you. Everyone has their own way, and you can work with whatever visuals you've been using. There isn't again a one size fits all. So for example, Sometimes I see like the silver cord, of my aura just going up until I reach like the planet that I'm working with now, or my guides that I'm working with now. Or I reach my 5D self, and my 5D self who's ascended has information for me. So you're just kind of working on blending the dimensions into one. However, sometimes I feel like I have to sing a song to call in my star family and to connect. And sometimes it's a very direct feeling, like I've got like this council that I channel. I can just kind of feel them like right over my crown, and they're like pulling my head, and I'm like, oh no, it means they need to speak to me. So I just sit down and get quiet, and then just let that channeling come through. But that tends to be more of a trance channeling, which is more about like blending with these energies. That's a different kind of channeling. So that's kind of like a bit of an explanation of everything together. But that's what was coming through for you. Yeah, oh, it's been so lovely. Okay. Yeah, music is a really big one, because just music really opens up so many portals, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's see. Is this anything? I don't know. Oh, someone wrote, how do I know if I am an earth angel? Is it the same as a starseed? Yes, if you are an earth angel, yes, I mean, essentially you're a starseed that comes from the angelic realm, and you've incarnated here. So again, if you have that feeling that everything feels so intense for you, perhaps, or that everything is so sort of like, there's just like this trembly feeling, sometimes that you might get. I think because angelic, that's like a really high dimension to come into, and you're really not used to that density. There's like such an innocence there, so you might just get a feeling of like a disconnect. Like you might want to hide, you might want to feel protected and spend time doing your own thing. Perhaps you're one of those people who loves to heal others, or heal the world and the planet just through your intention and through sending out your love and your vibration, rather than like a direct confrontation. Again, I would also really call in to your angelic star family and see what happens, to see if it feels really good, if like there's this feeling of really coming home. That can be really precious, and you'll know. And also remember, you can be a different mixture of things too. So you could be angelic and Syrian, but I do find that that angelic creatures, they're like treading. They sometimes they tread lightly, but they also just give so much incredible love, and they are so present for everyone. They have so many beautiful qualities, that you feel that you could hold the world. But just remember to look after yourself as well. Yeah, so I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. It's really such an incredible time on the planet as we're moving into this fifth dimensional reality. Our children will not even be talking about these things, because for them it will be so obvious. They might even be able to travel to other planets by the time that they're older. So it's really important that we have these conversations here now to pave the way for them. And it's been such an incredible year, of course, with everything that's been happening, but really feeling this shift to the 5D is an incredible blessing that we can take away from this year. Like, it is happening. So again, if you feel nauseous or faint or headaches or this kind of thing, your body is just adjusting to this higher frequency that you're anchoring into your body, so you are still fully human. And the idea is that we connect to being 100% human and 100% divine. And that's the beauty of what is happening now. Okay, my loves. So I think that's it for today, unless there's any last questions. Okay, so I send you my love, and I send you many, many blessings for the path that you're all on, and for, well done for paving the way for these beautiful beings to come through. It's so, so needed. Well done for doing it with intention and consciousness. And yeah, please look out for the next live, and please send me your questions, and I'll be happy to channel them through for you. Okay, sending you lots of love.